Do a live stream, they reckon. So what happened, man? What happened?
Your driveway's not even. And your hose is terrible.
So what happened? You need to explain what happened.
No, I was trying to get the kinks out of the hose, and I pulled a little bit too hard. Pressure washer went bang. Hose came out.
We have water.
Garage is full.
Garage is full of water. We could pretty much have a pool party with how much water's in here right now, man.
Stop mucking around. Tidy up, man.
So
your garage is a mess.
Welcome back to Wash and Talk After Hours with Omni Garage.
It's been a while since we've done one of these, and it's going to be a few more minutes before we can start. These wheels are filthy. Look at them.
How many weeks has it been since this bad boy got a clean?
It's only been a week.
Oh, that's right. You did some big driving.
I had a lot of Ks this week. It's filthy. Check out the brake dust that will come off here.
And I suppose that's the great thing about having your wheels coated, right? Is all that dirt and stuff just blows straight off.
Yeah, these aren't holding up too well though.
Well, your coating on the wheels is quite old.
Paint coating on the wheels, 14, 15 months old. It's not reacting quite like yours.
Are you topping it with brake Bead Maker?
No, that's probably where I go wrong, but these wheels are a pain.
But I mean, that's cleaned them up.
Oh,
That's
reasonable.
Pretty good job.
Yeah, that's like an average person's wash, you know?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's held up well with how many heat cycles it had is the calipers. Like they clean pretty easy with the pressure washer.
And I mean, they're also the hardest part of the wheel to clean, isn't there? There's not very many brushes that are going to get in there.
Nah, these wheels are terrible to clean. They look awesome.
I told you that right from the beginning. Wheels like that are a pain to clean.
I'll tell you, the one thing that I do want to get is another foam cannon.
Yeah, I think it's real key to have one foam cannon for brake
Just this.
buster,
Yep.
one for your soak.
Because right now we're going to set this up, clean it,
Yep.
then fill it up again. It's an absolute pain. All set to go. So it's been a long time since we've done one of these videos on the channel.
It has, a very long time.
We've kind of been making excuses after excuse, right? But it was trying to wait for a few things to kind of get sorted before we felt like we could put one of these videos out and have it of a decent quality.
And the reason that's been holding us back is because we've been after a dual mic setup, right?
Yeah.
Which we've finally got.
Well, it's been a long journey to get there because what happened is we obviously had the single mic setup. So we had one of the Rode wireless Go's, and then Rode brought out some new accessories where you could essentially link two of them up. So we bought all the kits that we needed, the cable to connect two of the systems into one. We waited a decent amount of time for those to arrive, right? Thinking that was going to be the magic solution.
And then we needed a cord to actually link the two together, right? And that's what took forever.
We did. And then as soon as everything showed up, Rode brought out Wireless Go 2. And that blew my mind.
So here in New Zealand it takes a long time to actually get any of the new Rode release products. So the SC11 cord was what we were after to link two mics together. And we were waiting months and months and months, and shipping has taken so long to get it. So, which has kind of pushed back our ability to be able to talk together on camera, right?
Yeah, it did. But I think then we saw the Rode Wireless Go 2 was out. We debated it for all of like 30 minutes, I think, and placed an order. That probably took, what do you reckon, 6 weeks to come in?
Yeah.
Maybe a bit longer?
Yeah.
So we finally got that set up, and wow, we've used it in one video yesterday, and it made things so much easier.
We had a few little setup problems on settings of the mic on that the Rags to Riches video, so I think if you watch that video you'll see in the second half of the video the sound sounds like it's coming from, I can't remember if it's the left or right channel.
I think it's just one of the channels.
It sort of drops out a little bit, but that's because we've realised now that when we have a left and right talking, we need to link that audio file together.
Yeah, the cool thing about this setup now is that if we were to sit down, we can have a left and right channel, and it sounds really, the sound is coming from where it's meant to come from.
Yeah.
But if we do a video like this, you can be on one side of the car, I can be on the other, and in the past, only one of us has been able to talk at once. Now we can both have a yarn either side of the car. And you can actually talk from behind the mic as well, which I think makes a bit of a difference.
Yeah, so especially if one of us are filming the person behind the camera can chat and sort of egg the other one along with the discussion. So I think that's really important for us because there's not just one of us here, there's two of us usually.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that we talked about a while ago with the channel, right, is that we really wanted to make it a bit more us, a bit more personable. So the fact of us both being able to have a yarn with each other as we go about, you know, some of the stuff that we do is going to be quite, will make for some more interesting videos, I think, with a lot less silence and gaps in between.
So that's sort of the investment that Omni Garage has made so that the quality of the videos are better for you guys to watch. And so, as we've just explained, it's taken a wee while to be able to get that set up right.
But now we've got it, I think expect a lot more content with both of us, I guess, featuring in it. We want to try and make a wash and talk a bit of a staple on the channel. I think selfishly, so we can get the cars clean on a regular basis, especially coming into winter.
Yeah, having a wash and talk actually forces you to get out and clean your car, right?
Sure does. So I think the way that we're going to try and structure our wash and talks is, you know, we don't have a whole lot of installs or parts that are coming into the garage. You know, I think our kind of main focus, because it's accessible to us, is detailing products. So we'll try have a couple of main topics as we jump into each wash and talk. So we're not rambling about a whole bunch of different stuff or just repeating you through our process. Try and make it a little bit different for each one that you watch.
And it also gives us the ability to talk to you guys about what's happening, so the people who watch regularly can follow along, paints a bit of a picture and a bit of a story, and then you guys can keep up to where Omni Garage is and its future developments. Almost like a live notice board, really, eh?
Exactly, and we'll try and keep these current. I think the goal is, we don't want to set any expectation on it, but at least 1 or 2 a month, right?
Yep.
You know, every fortnight, get out here, have a yarn, update you on.
And we'll just alternate between the cars so
Yep.
that the footage is not the same all the time.
It's been a while since we've done anything on this car, really, hasn't it? Detail was 14 months ago.
Yeah.
I think the last thing might have been the exhaust.
That's right, you installed an exhaust on there.
Yeah. Wireless CarPlay.
Yeah,
That all set up and running.
Yep. Ready for rinse?
Yeah. So what we've just done with these wheels is we've got brake buster in the press hole bottle here. So I think we mixed up. There was a 100ml brake buster in the foam cannon, the MTM foam cannon, about 150 mils of water. So almost a 1-to-1 dilution, and then just sprayed it down with the tyres with these to scrub it with the brush. Or rinse them off.
We have quite a few different brushes in there. We've got the race glaze brush, which we used to get around the lugs. Easy detail brush, which helps with the barrels of the wheels, and
a couple of those. I don't use that an awful lot anymore.
No,
I think
because
this has replaced it.
Yeah, because the spokes are so tight together that by the time you push that brush through, it pushes the water out.
Couple of brushes to get around the lugs, and then the 2 of the trusty mitts as well.
Yeah,
Gee,
lamb's mill.
That's a bit blue.
Finger mitt.
What's happened there? That's probably mine.
Well, what happens every time we wash together, the stuff gets mixed up. So
good point.
One of us gets a new one, one of us gets an old one. But yeah, I use that thing more than anything, right?
All right, we'll rinse these off, move to the other side.
So there's brake buster in that MTM foam gun that's sort of diluted 1-to-1, so one part brake buster, the other part water.
Close enough 1-to-1. Gee, we won't tug your tree out of the ground, eh? Way overcooked it, there's heaps left in there.
Yeah, well the good thing about that is that you can keep it in that bottle and you can use it when the next time you wash, right?
You could, yeah, but I guess that's the downside of only having the one bottle. You need the 2.
Yeah.
So that's going to go to waste, so we may as well.
Yeah, you're going to tip it out because we have to fill it up with soap now.
Exactly, we may as well soak it down. I think 1-to-1 dilution on brake buster is pretty good, but to be honest, based on how much we've got left in there, we could have done 50ml brake buster, 50ml water.
Yeah.
That would have got us around all 4 wheels. No
Sometimes
issue.
what I do, if there's a little bit of brake buster left in the bottom of the bottle, I just put it in there.
Yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea. Otherwise, it's going to go to waste, right? It's
Yeah.
going to go down a drain or probably not too good. Dump it in there. Generally, at this point, go rinse this out. So it's a really good time for us to wash the car now, right? Because it's
Well, the sun's gone, we're in shade.
yeah, so it's 4:30 right now. So when daylight savings is gone, I mean, we're in pretty much darkness from like 5:30, 5:45.
Yep.
So it's a pretty good setup to be washing here. So
We usually used to do our washes sort of Friday afternoon after work, but what's kind of happened now is we're in daylight savings, it gets darker too early. So we're going to have to do that on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon, and still going to be wash and talk after hours, but no longer can we get it done sort of at the end of the week.
no, I mean, the change for us is that in summer we'll do it Fridays, in the winter it'll be Saturday, Sunday, earlier in the afternoon. I mean, a wash for us is about 2 hours, so for us to get done by dark, we want to be started by about 3:30, 4 o'clock, absolute latest, right?
Especially when we're filming for you guys won't see it because we don't have really good lights, so it'll be dark and the quality will be poor, and everyone will be whinging, hey, great on the volume with the mics and stuff, but now, your camera footage sucks, eh?
Yeah, I think the good thing is that washing at this time, right, we don't have any kind of deionized system, so if we wash in the middle of the day, we're pretty prone to water spots. It has to be when the sun's down, or when the sun's on its way down. Otherwise, you're going to move way too fast. All right, rinse her off. Normally, I get a whole lot more of the dirt off with the pressure washer, but I mean, this is absolutely caked on. At the back here, this is all, I think it's raised there, but I mean, you can see the dirt.
Foam. Time to foam. So we've got 150 mils of hyperwash in here, mixed with, what is it, 750 of water?
600. So 750 total. It's been a while since you used hyperwash, eh?
Well, yeah, because I've been doing a whole heap of product testing and trying to find out the best soap.
You think hyperwash is almost too thick?
You could make it thinner if you played around with your dilutions a bit.
I mean, it's just sitting there, right? Even on some of the side panels, I find that hyperwash at this dilution, it's thick like shaving foam.
Well, I think when you're foaming the car, you want it so that it sticks to the paint for a little bit and then sort of has a slight run off the paint, because that's taking dirt and stuff like that and it's dripping it down onto the driveway. I suppose you don't want it to stick right onto the paint, so you don't want real thick shaving cream because then it's not doing that, dragging it. So this is probably about right. I mean, you can see it running down the paint there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the whole idea with the foam is to add some lubrication, but it's also to try and get as much dirt off in the runoff as you can. And I mean, it is running, right? It is going. It's just a very thick soap. And
you don't want the opposite. You don't want it to be poor at foaming. You don't want it to spray it onto the car and then run off straight away, because that also defeats the purpose. You also want a soap that's also going to work well in your buckets too, right? So you don't want something that doesn't foam very well. You don't want anything that doesn't have great suds, because when you put it on your mitt, you're also not adding that lubrication to the mitt. So it's a bit of a catch-22, and it's probably quite hard to find a really good soap. There's plenty of soaps that are good, but not really good. And so
no, we've got a lot of hyperwash left, right?
We do have. We've got a whole gallon of hyperwash.
It's a staple at the moment. I think if you asked us what the wash is right now, I mean, that's what we've got plenty of, so we're going to use it up.
And I mean, hyperwash is pretty cheap. It's good that it comes in a gallon. And it's also a really good soap. But I definitely think that probably if you tried your luck, you could find something that's probably slightly a little bit better than hyperwash.
So this little setup wasn't around for our last wash and talk, was it?
No, so Omni Garage has been diving in deep into, like, I suppose, product development. I mean, we have a really good setup here at the moment. We have a great starting point, but we're going through and pulling our whole system to bits, trying out products, adding them, taking them away and seeing what really works. So yeah, we've got this nice beautiful setup.
Yeah, so these are the, these are a Yeti, they're called loadout buckets.
Loadout buckets.
Loadout buckets. And it was quite funny the way that we discovered these, right?
It is quite funny. How did you saw it first? Wow, did you?
Yeah, so it was within a couple of hours of each other. I was having a scroll through Facebook, and I saw a link to these buckets, and I saw someone else had purposed them in a really similar fashion as car wash buckets, and people were making fun of them because of the price of them.
And that's the same that popped up on my newsfeed.
And I think what happened is I was away for the weekend. You flicked me a text message, didn't you? And said, have you seen these?
I said, have you seen these? So these were posted on Matt from Obsessed Garage's Facebook page.
So he's got a public Facebook page, and I think one of the members on there stumbled across them.
Stumbled across it, and then obviously we both subscribed to that Facebook page, so it came up on your newsfeed, came up on mine, and then, yeah, hour apart, had a conversation, and we're like, do you like these? We're like, yeah, let's give them a crack. So, where did you find these buckets from? It's not easy to get a hold of them here in New Zealand, is it?
No, well, I actually managed to get them straight from Yeti's website. So what we did is, I thought, okay, charcoal is quite a cool colour, I think, especially for car wash, right? Buckets get scuffed up, so I thought we'd try something a little bit different. So we ordered one of the buckets, turned up, as soon as I opened it, the quality of this is absolutely amazing. It's a really thick bucket, really sturdy handle on the top. It's got a anti-scuff bottom as well. As soon as it showed up, it was like, this is the one. This is a great replacement. So managed to secure a couple more of them on Yeti's website, but I think the accessories are really tough to get hold of.
Yeah, and the spec of this bucket is designed for outdoor use, people going hunting and fishing. So you can actually stand on this bucket, you're not going to fall through, it's not going to crack. The other plastic buckets we've had before, like the little plastic sort of coating that comes around the handle here, seems to crack all the time, it gets cracked. So this is a woven material handle with a rubber little bit there that you can hold, so it's really nice, it's really sturdy, which is good for when you're especially carrying around sort of 15-20 odd litres worth of liquid, right?
Well, I think what we had realised as well with buckets, right, we pretty limited what we can get here in New Zealand, but we thought, okay, the Latika buckets, everyone seems to be using Latikas. It's a relatively cheap bucket, like $8 or $9 US, but I think the price for us to get them here, which got us on this little rabbit hole of looking at buckets, it was going to cost something like $200 to ship 2 buckets.
Which is not something we're prepared to do. So essentially we've used that $200 of shipping and bought 200 plus worth of a bucket set up here.
Yeah, so I don't know what these go for in the United States, but these buckets here in New Zealand, $79 each. 79 or 89. Either way, they're not cheap buckets, but I think you get what you pay for with these.
I just love the build quality. I love the fact that they come in a grey, sort of a charcoaly colour. I think every now and again you can get a blue sort of duck-eared colour. They come in white, and is that it? Do they come in black?
No, so it's charcoal, white, there's a tan colour.
Oh yeah, tan was the other colour I was looking for.
Yeah, and I think that that colour must be not a limited edition, but it's not available all the time, that duck egg, which is quite a cool colour, but I thought charcoal is quite nice.
Especially when these buckets are going to get destroyed, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And that's when the quality comes into it. You don't want a cheap bucket because you're just going to crack it and whatnot all the time. So we've sort of gone out on a bit of a limb on this, not doing what most people do with the Latika buckets or the other cheap buckets that you've seen, like the Maguire's bucket that I have. And really nice quality. And it's something that we're actually really excited to have, right? Which is the whole point. If you're not happy about it, don't get it.
No, so I think what we're going to try and do is next part, now we know what the buckets are. These are removable stickers as well, but I think that looks quite nice with the Yeti on there. Next stage for us is to try and work out a grit guard solution. At the moment, we just got the standard grit guards in there, but we know there's a couple of others on the market that we want to have a look at. And then it's going to be, what are they called? Dollies. Bucket dollies.
I think grit guard dolly is the dolly that we're probably going to end up with.
Well, I think it's going to be the first that we'll try, right?
Yeah.
There's not too many on the market. I know that I think Griots have one, and a few other brands do make them, but the grit guard ones seem to be the staple that everyone has.
So now that we've sort of found the bucket that we're after, we're going to get some sort of dollies which will help sort of maneuver these buckets around so they're not having to carry them. And the accessories that these come with are pretty cool as well. So they come with a real nice sort of clear lid that sort of has a bit of a sort of hex pattern on it that we haven't got at the moment, but it's something that you can buy additional. And they also come with like a little caddy that sits sort of, I suppose, pretty much there, which sit on top there, which would be really nice to store your tools, like your detailing brushes and things like that, so that when you're doing your wheels you can just grab your tools out of the top of that little caddy there. So really well accessorized with these. These are removable stickers. These are Matt from Obsessed Garage's rinse and wash stickers. So when we do find a printer and things like that, then we can create our own sort of vinyl with our own logo that will get stuck on there, and we'll do something sort of cool and unique as well on there.
Yeah, I think the other accessory they come with as well is there's like a belt that goes around it. It's almost like a tool belt. So there's the bucket that sits in, which is more like a dolly type thing you can take out. But there's something that goes around the outside. It's kind of like a
tool belt
type. Yeah, it's like a tool belt. So
that would be also really good for putting our accessories and stuff in.
Yeah, I was pretty keen to get my hands on all three, but all of them are sold out at the moment. Pretty much everywhere Yeti is stocked in New Zealand. So we'll as those, I guess, roll in, we'll get them and see if we can add them to our process, or whether they're a bit gimmicky and they won't fit the bill.
But definitely a product we're both really excited to have as part of our sort of setup here. So we've got rid of the cheapo buckets and we've got something that's really nice and good quality here. So also to add to our product development, we're working through basically every little stage, aren't we? We're working on soaps, we're working on interior cleaners, but a big one we're chasing now is a sort of a glass coating.
Yeah, I've got Wolf's Nano Glass Sealant on here. You've got G-Technic.
G-Glass.
G-Glass?
Well, sort of, I think it's, I don't know what it's called, but it's the G-Technic glass coating on there. And let me tell you, I'm not a big fan of the G-Technic glass coating. It doesn't work very well with Bead Maker, so when I put Bead Maker on, it fogs the glass up. It doesn't work well with the wipers, so when it's raining, the wipers sort of judder across the front of the car. So I'm in real search of something different, because now that it's winter, we're getting a lot of rain and things like that, so it's really important that I do have good windscreen wipers.
Yeah, I mean, I've had better luck with Wolf's, but I don't think it's as intense as what you get. You know, you were driving at 40 k's an hour, and
well, yeah, the beading that I get on the glass is way better than I get with than you get with the Wolf's, right?
It was unreal, but I had none of that judderness or juddering with Wolf's. So I think there's a few other ones that we want to try, right? You're going to try potentially Car Pros.
Yeah, I want to try that Flyby 40.
Have you seen P&S has bought one out as well?
Yeah, theirs is called I can't remember the name of it.
View, something View.
Is it?
Yeah, it's sold here by whoever stocks P&S here.
Prestige Auto Car Care.
$179 for a 100ml bottle.
Yeah.
So it's not on the
cheaper side of a code,
but it's a 100ml bottle, so I don't know how far that's going to go.
But definitely that's something that we're in search for.
Yeah, I mean, coming into winter as well, I think that's something that we really want to get onto sooner rather than later. And another thing that I really want to chase is interior cleaner. We've been using P&S interior cleaner, which is good.
Have you done the back here?
Yeah, just door jams.
And so I've also been chasing an interior smelly. So you know, on the couple of last videos, I changed the cabin air filter and I used the SI. Was it called SiO2 or SO2 Pure by CarPro? I'm not very good with remembering stuff. Anyway, I used that odor eliminator in the car and odor's all gone. So I've had it for probably a month or so now. Odor's gone, the car just has a neutral smell. It doesn't smell like anything flash or anything fruity. It just smells like a plain car smell. So if you're looking for an odor eliminator, use that, but remember, it's not going to add a nice pleasant smell to the car, it's just going to make it smell neutral.
No, but your car smells really good. I think it's worked a whole lot better than you just talked it out to be.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it's a really nice neutral smell that you get from that.
I reckon if you could have the odor eliminator in the product, but also added a fragrance, that's where you're onto something.
Yeah, interior car smells is, it's such a tough one. We have tried absolutely everything. There's plenty more that we can try. I think the best product that I've come across, and I just wish it was available in more different scents, is CarPro's Sky's the Blue, which is basically a little, it's almost like a little fragrance diffuser that you plug into your air vent, or you can hang it. And that lasted for, I reckon I got 6 to 8 weeks out of that smell.
Yeah, well, the good thing about that is that it sits in a little vial and the liquid just sort of soaks up onto a piece of wood, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
And it just has that continual release of fragrance, and I think that's probably kind of the key that you want, is something that's going to be a slow release type product.
Oh, it lasted for such a long time, but I tell you, CarPro Eraser, which is the scent, is sickening after a while.
Yeah, and I mean when you're smelling it all the time, even when you're detailing the car, when you're using car power razor, that smell does get quite sickly after a while, right?
It's nice at first, but as a car fragrance, you know, if Car Pro were able to release that in a whole bunch of different scents,
Yeah.
I think it's a really clean solution.
Yeah.
Right, we're all pretty much washed here, so move on to the rinse. If you have a ceramic coated car and you're not drying it with a leaf blower, you really need to get on this bandwagon. It makes it so much easier. Right, we're almost out of sunlight here, but up to the final stage, which for us has been Bead Maker.
This is an old Bead Maker sprayer.
Yeah?
I was used to the double action.
Ooh, we're used to the press oil bottles.
Press hole bottles, yeah.
Now we try and brake buster in the press oil right now, you know?
Oh yeah.
Making sure that it holds up.
Yep, fair enough. And is it doing all right? Is it eating away at the...
That it hasn't eaten away at it. So it's the press hole bottle with the, what's on it? The household sprayer.
Yeah.
No issues.
No issues?
No issues at all.
Well, that's good that those sprayers are going to hold up to something that's got quite a lot of chemical in it that would potentially eat away at it.
I think the you're going to want the industrial sprayers on your press hole bottles, or industrial sprayers on any type of bottle when you're using a chemical a bit harsher, right? Maybe our Ionexes, our Tarex, anything that's going to eat away.
Has Matt got those in the store?
Yes, yeah, he does. Okay. The industrial sprayers?
Yeah.
Yeah, industrial sprayers.
Well, that's good to know. How are you liking the towels that have just been cleaned with rags to riches? Do you feel like they've been rejuvenated?
They feel soft.
Yeah.
I think my issue with these towels is I don't feel like they're soft enough on the paint, generally. I think these are too harsh a towel to be using for a final wipe down.
Yeah, well, you're looking for more of a sort of something with a bit more plushness, a bit more softer pile.
Ideally, I mean, on the white car, it's really tough to tell, right? Because at the best of times, it's hard to see imperfections and scratches and bits and pieces. But I think if I was using a black car, these towels would scare me using these for my Bead Maker application.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much scratches they will be inducing, but they definitely do feel a lot better now that I've used that Rag to Riches cleaning microfiber wash on it. And that's the most latest video that we've just put up, so go check that out if you want to know how to clean your microfiber.
Yeah, that's kind of like the new hotness, right, for microfiber.
Yeah,
we were using Micro Restore in the past.
Yep.
And
I've used Chemical Guys, microfiber wash, and I just felt that those products weren't really taking out the SiO2 based chemical that is in these towels, and I definitely feel like Rags to Riches has definitely pulled that stuff out to some degree. They're definitely not brand new towels, but I feel like it's been improved, and you can just tell now they're so much more absorbent of the liquid, right?
yeah, actually it is. It's a lot more absorbent because these towels, when they get loaded up with SiO2, Bead Maker, any of these modern products, they get pretty difficult, right? It feels like you're pushing the product around rather than actually absorbing it.
Yeah.
These are good.
Yeah. So I guess even before that, the last couple of videos have just been sort of maintenance videos, right? We did the 5,000k oil change on my car. We dumped all the fluids out of that car, and I sort of do my own periodic maintenance myself every sort of 5,000k's, and then at the 10,000k mark I take the car into Subaru and they do their checks, and it sort of makes me feel a little bit better that I'm looking after the car a little bit more, but whether I am or not is to be debated.
Yeah, I think that's probably the latest stuff we've been working on, right? It's just little maintenance bits and pieces. We haven't filmed all of it. We filmed some of it, but I think the key for us in terms of feel-good factor, right, is we try and split the dealer service. So if the dealer's every 10 for you, you try and do a service at 5.
Yeah.
For this car here, the dealer recommended servicing is 12.5, or the interval. So I try and split it at about 6 to 50. And it's a really easy thing for us to do.
Yeah, I think it's important to do that as well. It's not too expensive by the time you've got all the tools, and we're using Fumoto oil drain valves on the car, so it's really easy to dump that liquid. It doesn't take too long, half an hour or so. The hardest part's actually trying to jack the car up, get underneath it to get that skid plate off, right? That's the most labour intensive part.
I mean, if we had the lift set up, I mean, that would be what, 15-minute process?
Yeah.
Right now, it's probably half an hour,
Yeah.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
And probably one of the things that we didn't record, right, which was your latest stress with your car, was
so what
bit
happened
of
the other day, I was driving along and at 2,500 RPM, when you're just coming into turbo, it usually has a little bit of a delay. There's a little bit of that sort of hesitation. That's what you get with turbo cars. And then as you keep throttling up, you get into boost and you're away.
You described it as like a serious turbo lag, right?
Yeah, it's really, really noticeable. So 2,500 RPM, this car just goes, just absolutely poos on
How does
it.
it go?
Just goes, just real poos, you know, foot on, and there's nothing. And then as you get to 2,000 through to 2,700 into 3,000 RPM, it sort of catches up, picks itself up, and away it goes again. And I was like, oh man, here we go, you know, new turbo, whole engine rebuild, you know, money coming out my ears kind of situation. But I did a bit of research, went onto a couple of forums, and a lot of people were commenting on MAF sensor issues. And so they say that over time what happens is the filter, well, as you're filtering air, a little bit of dirt and stuff can get through the filter and can sort of attach onto your MAF sensor. That sort of happens post air filtering, right? And you can get like little bits of debris and stuff like that on the little bit of sensor. It's like a real thin, wide sensor. And they say when that comes clogged up, the car recognizes that the air-fuel ratio is completely out, and it's like, no, we're not having a bar of this. And then it sort of sorts itself out.
So it's quite an easy fix for you in the end.
Well, yeah, so I
could have
pulled
been
it apart
a huge
and I
stress.
looked at it, and the wire was pretty much black, full of dirt and dust and stuff. And so I went down to Super Cheap Auto, your auto department store, and got a can of MAF sensor cleaner. It's like an alcohol-based type solution, I guess it is, and I sprayed it on, ate all the dirt away, dried real clean, sort of evaporates, and put it back in, and that spooling, well, not really spooling, but that sort of real delay, that lag, gone.
How long do you have to let it dry for before you put it back in?
Oh, I can't remember really, but you just spray it on. It evaporates pretty quick, so I just left it for an hour or so. I think it says you want to make sure that it's real dry before you put it back in.
I think what we're going to try and do is the next maintenance video that we do, we'll try and...
I haven't done the first wipe on here.
No, that's right, I'm doing first wipe.
Been getting carried away.
That's all right.
Carried away.
I think we'll try and show you exactly what Glenn's talking about with that MAF sensor. Probably pull it out of this one, do you reckon?
Yeah, I think you'll be surprised at how dirty it does get. I mean, I can't imagine that's been done in a while. It's a really easy fix. The car runs just like it ran before that problem. So I was really surprised that actually, you know, Subarus being Subarus, that as much as a $20 can of spray on, fix it, actually did the trick. So if you guys are having that sort of spooling problem, it's really, really noticeable. This is not just typical turbo lag that you get. This is a real, goes nowhere. Try that, because if you pull your MAF sensor out and it's not the MAF sensor, you're going to be $200, $300, $400 deep buying a new MAF sensor. So I would rather spend $20 on a can of sort of spray on and forget, and try that option first. I definitely recommend it. Yeah, really surprised at how well it sort of cleaned that up. So as you can see, we've kind of got the floodlights on. It's getting a bit dark here. It's not dark to the eye, but it's dark to the camera. So we're going to wrap it up here. We're just going to finish spraying the car down with Bead Maker, giving it a last dry. And then we're going to dress the tyres, but you guys aren't going to see this because we're getting too dark out here.
Yeah, so there we go. We've entered back into the 4-hour wash and talk. So hopefully it'll become a bit more of a regular thing on the channel now we've got the mic situation all sorted.
Yep, and it's a bit of a brain dump for us and a bit of an informal meeting really, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, and hopefully as time goes, we've got a lot more to talk about in these. You know, we can talk about products that we're testing, where we're at with different builds, what's coming. Bit of almost a podcast type scenario for us as we progress with the channel. So, look, thank you so much for watching this one. We'll see you guys on the next wash and talk, which will be the blue WRX next time around.
So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more OEM Plus right here on the Omni Garage.
See you on the next one.